As we step into 2025, India and China, two of Asia's largest economies, are headed in different directions with their small and medium enterprises or SMEs. India has launched bold reforms to strengthen its 63 million small businesses. But despite all the promises, things aren't looking too good. Meanwhile, in China, the rise of little giants is taking the world by storm. So what's China doing right? And why is India still struggling to get its SMEs to scale? Let's break this down. China's strategy isn't accidental. Meet the little giants, a group of 14,600 small and private enterprises that are leading the charge in strategic industries. These include semiconductors, aerospace, AI, and more. With over 5,000 of them working in cutting-edge fields like artificial intelligence and drones, China is well on its way to securing its technological future. These firms have become indispensable in the supply chain, making China a key player in the global technology race. Take B+ new material technology from Ningbo, for example. They create some of the thinnest magnetic alloys in the world. These materials are used in everything from ultra-fast wireless charging to heavy-lift drones. What seems like a small company is actually at the very heart of global innovations. Farbuilder is revolutionizing industrial raw materials by engineering microbes. Acco Info is refining industrial real-time operating systems. And Beijing Hanfei Aviation Technology is redefining aerospace with its single crystal turbine blades. Together, these companies form a silent yet unstoppable force, accelerating China's ascent in high-tech industries. Gone are the days when China's business mantra was Zuo Da Zuo Qiang, become big and become strong. Forgive me for my pronunciation. Today, the swelling breed of privately run small but smart little giants are fueling Beijing's ability to revitalize its private sector and spur technological breakthroughs to win a full-blown technology war with the United States. Private sector minnows now look like big fish since little giants assume outsized roles for the economy and tech breakthroughs. What Beijing wants now are these small but beautiful players, remarks Zhu Tian, a professor of economics at China-Europe International Business School in Shanghai. So China's rise isn't just about raw numbers, it's a well-planned strategy. Under the Made in China 2025 initiative, Beijing has focused on fostering innovative SMEs. These businesses aren't just surviving, they're thriving with state-backed support. Beijing doesn't just leave them to fend for themselves, they give these little giants access to financial resources, market linkages, and even regulatory advantages. Many of them go public on Chinese stock exchanges, raising millions of dollars to fund their growth. China's SME ecosystem thrives on a meticulously structured pyramid cultivation system, hierarchical framework where firms compete for government recognition, incentives, and financial support. Much like a sports coach scouting for Olympics talent, Beijing continually holds nationwide tryouts, identifying the most promising SMEs through rigorous assessments of their economic and technological capabilities. A recent report has even stated, and this report is from the Mercator Institute for China Studies. At the foundation of this pyramid are innovative SMEs identified at the provincial level for their technological potential. These demonstrate that exceptional promise ascend to specialized SMEs, gaining entry into a vast network of support mechanisms. The most outstanding of these advance to national little giant status, positioning themselves at the heart of industrial transformation of China. At the apex of the hierarchy stands the manufacturing champions, firms that have not only grown in size but have also secured leadership positions in specialized industrial sectors. Now, on the other hand, let's look at India's MSMEs. While India actually boasts of having been home to 63 million small businesses, the reality is quite different. Despite being the backbone of India's economy, contributing 30% to the GDP and 45% to exports, these businesses actually face an uphill battle. 99% of India's MSMEs are micro enterprises with fewer than 20 employees. Most of them are stuck in a cycle of stagnation. They lack access to capital, technology, and skilled talent. While their contribution to the economy is absolutely undeniable, they can't seem to break out of this small scale model. The fundamental issue here is not that it's not merely competitive. It is a crisis of scale and ambition. Despite their sheer numbers, 99% of these India's 60 million MSMEs remain micro enterprises operating in small pockets of the economy with limited aspirations to actually expand. So these businesses employing fewer than 20 workers function largely outside of the formal regulatory framework while struggling to break free from their micro status. Similarly, once a company crosses 6 employees, it falls under trade union laws, allowing workers to unionize. A mere increase to 10 employees subjects the firm to Factories Act, piling on more compliance obligations. Ironically, the very rules designed to protect labor and encourage employment generation end up stifling both, leading to stagnant enterprises and a restricted job market. The Economic Survey of 2023-24 acknowledged this very paradox, calling the licensing, inspection, and compliance burdens that all levels of government continue to impose on businesses an onerous burden. A micro or small enterprise faces nearly the same compliance burden as a large corporation, but without the financial muscle to actually absorb these costs. The result, the costs of compliance eat into a far larger share of the revenue for these businesses, actually leaving them with no real incentive to grow. This is particularly evident in Tamil Nadu's Tirupur's thriving textile industry, where thousands of enterprises remain micro by design, avoiding the cost of transitioning into a more formal setup. These numbers actually paint an even starker image. Out of the 5.93 crore registered MSMEs in India, only about 69,000 odd qualify as medium enterprises. Now, the moment you become medium, you naturally lose the advantages of being small, but you're suddenly pit against large corporations with vast financial resources. The legal framework treats you as the same as a corporate giant, making survival an uphill battle. This is where the dwarf mentality actually sets in. There is no one speaking for them, no policy tailored to their needs. Many experts actually agree with this. So, what can India learn from China? To replicate China's success, India actually needs to develop a strategy that's more than just incremental change. It needs to build a nurturing environment where small businesses can scale, innovate, and enter the global supply chain. India needs a national strategy that acts like an incubator for industrial and hardware technologies. A strategy that mirrors the success of India's booming software and venture capital sectors. This includes improving the access to credit, simplifying regulatory hurdles, and offering targeted support for businesses showing innovation and potential. Apart from this, India needs to take a leaf out of China's book, where small businesses, including these little giants, have successfully listed on stock exchanges like the Star Market. With the right support and financial backing, India's MSMEs can actually thrive and expand. With the echoes of our Prime Minister's clarion call to make in India resonating through every corner of the nation, it is imperative that we pause and reflect. Why is it that our MSMEs are struggling? Can we truly claim readiness for a Make in India revolution without the full-fledged participation of this vital sector? If India aspires to actually replicate China's remarkable ascent, an urgent reckoning with the challenges MSMEs in the manufacturing space are grappling with today today is long overdue. We need to address them. And to break free from stagnation, India must craft its own version of a high-impact specialized firms, a new generation of dwarfs that can punch far above their weight on the global stage. India needs a national MSME strategy, one that functions as a startup incubator for industrial and hardware technologies, mirroring the success of India's booming software and venture capital ecosystem. Larger corporations will undoubtedly play a central role, but New Delhi must actively foster smaller firms, ensuring their inclusion in value chains, technology transfer, and market access. A structured framework must be followed. Once a strategy is firmly in place, evaluation mechanisms, targeted support, and regulatory handholding must follow suit. Now, no transformation is actually complete without addressing two of the biggest constraints, which is financial and regulatory burdens. While the government has quadrupled MSME budget allocations over the years, funding constraints actually remain severe. A credit gap of 20 to 25 lakh crore rupees actually remains, with a large portion of the MSME demand still being unmet. Bridging this financial chasm demands a proactive policy push, alongside leveraging advanced fintech solutions to democratize access to capital. Regulatory reform is also key. Simplifying land use regulations, factory space requirements, and compliance norms will go a long way in boosting manufacturing capacity for micro and small firms. It's time for India to fully cultivate its own version of the midstand, a breed of highly specialized, globally competitive enterprises that can dominate niche markets much like their German counterparts. India's MSME sector has immense potential and everybody knows it, but it needs to overcome its structural hassles and hurdles. If we look to the China's success with Little Giants, we can actually begin to understand the path forward for Indian enterprises, path that actually fosters innovation, growth, competitiveness, but on a global scale.